Hey guys, Simon Andrews here with Neowin.net, and right here I've got the brand new Apple TV. I've already gone through the initial setup. It's very simple. When you turn it on, it asks you for a language, and then it asks you for the Wi-Fi network. The only really cumbersome part there is putting in the network password, because you have to use the Apple remote, which you can see here. It's very simple. It's got a play pause button here, menu button here, which is used to navigate up and down through the menu system, and it's got up, down, right, left, and a select button right here. Really, the remote isn't all that useful, to be perfectly honest, but once you get that set up, you can actually set up your iPhone, iPod Touch, or iPad as a remote, and that is actually quite nice. As you can see here, you can just swipe, to the right, to the left. You can go up and down. I mean, it's all just swipe based. If you want to select something, you just tap the screen of your iPad. If you want to go back, there's a menu button down here. It's also got a play pause button over here. So the remote app is, great in my opinion. Only real issue is the Wi-Fi connection, which can sometimes lead to delays if you're not close enough to your base station. But if I actually have my TV downstairs, where this is ultimately going to be right next to that, so it's going to be fine for me. It's not a perfect solution for everyone, I guess, but it's adequate. Infrared sensors aren't necessarily instant either. They can be pretty tricky to work with, so in rooms where infrared really doesn't cooperate for whatever reason, I've seen a few of those, Wi-Fi might actually be better. So yeah, let's take an actual look through the interface here. What you've got over here is the movies section, which is from the iTunes store. So let's actually take a look at the quality that will give you by looking at a trailer. Let's see. Toy Story 3 here, let's give that a try. I've actually watched this already, so it will already be cached, and it'll start pretty quickly.
Andy's going to college. Can you believe it? What are you going to do with these old toys?
Okay, calm down, guys. Let's just keep this in perspective. Why is she taking us?
I should've...
So, one thing I'm actually noticing here is that the video quality is quite good. It is only 720p. That is the highest the Apple TV supports as of now. The hardware might be able to be pushed to 1080p. Some of you will remember back a few years ago, Microsoft actually did that with the Xbox 360. But this here is essentially mobile hardware. I mean, what you're looking at is running on what is essentially an iPad without a screen. So the hardware is very basic. It's not really known if it can be pushed to actually show 1080p content. What has been shown is that it will downscale 1080p content to 720p. So if you have 1080p videos, you can play them on this. It just won't play at the highest quality available. But I mean, the video quality is pretty good. There's pretty much no artifacting on that video, and it started up pretty quickly. But one of the big features here is Netflix. For those of you that don't know, if you've been living under a rock, Netflix is a rental service that used to only be available in the US. It's now available up here in Canada, which is great because it gives me a chance to test it out here. And the real compelling feature for me is the Watch Instantly feature. It's subscription based, so it's $9 a month. And you can watch as much stuff as you want. The real issue here is that the content, at least up here in Canada, is still pretty limited. But we do have Superbad, which is obviously great. So let's actually take a look at that and see how the streaming works. There's a bit of a delay starting it up. It's just buffering. Yeah, resume playing from where I was. So yeah, once that starts, the quality there is also very good. It's not a whole lot of artifacting. And 720p is the highest quality Netflix does anyway, so for this device, it's perfectly fine. Some other things the Apple TV does, when you go down here, you have YouTube support. That's not really that exciting, it's just YouTube. There's also Flickr support, which is kind of cool. Let's just do a search here for Neowin. Yeah, so it brings up some photos here from Neowin's most recent meetup in Toronto, where we went and checked out the CBC. So yeah, photos shown very nicely on the screen. The control from the iPad is pretty cool because you can swipe just as you'd expect to do on the iPad itself, but it naturally controls the TV. So you can swipe very slowly and stop for whatever reason, or you can just kind of flick and go through your photos pretty quickly. So that's pretty nice. There's also a slideshow feature up here, but last time I tried it didn't want to work for me. It just sits at the... Oh, there we go. That looks very nice as well. Of course, lays out in that nice... Yeah, and it switches through the layouts, so that's kind of cool. It's got some nice animations to it. One minor irritant is while you're going through the menu system on the iPad, if you hit a spot through the navigation tree, which involves typing, it will pop a keyboard up on the iPad, and that's great if you want to input text. But if you're just trying to get back to this home screen, there isn't actually a home button. So you have to close the keyboard and then go back to hitting the menu button, because the keyboard just pops up right in your way. Another feature that Apple was pretty excited about is AirPlay. In iOS 4.2 has preliminary support for that. It only does music at this point, but it does show the potential of the feature. So let's first try playing some Phoenix on the iPad. And you can hear that just coming through the speaker here. If you just tap a little AirPlay button, which is right here. There we go. And just select the Apple TV. It'll stop playing there. And it'll start pumping it through your TV speakers. It's a kind of cool feature. But at this point, without video support is of course coming. That's one of the compelling features of AirPlay. But without it, it's not incredibly useful. I don't know about you, but I don't usually sit in my TV room listening to music. That's what I've got a nice set of speakers in my room for. So if we just pop back into the remote app, the screen for actually looking at movies is pretty nice as well. You've got options to preview a movie or rent it for $5.99. You can add it to a wish list, and there's more stuff, but a real feature that a lot of people were excited about is Rotten Tomatoes support. And I'm actually not seeing that here. I don't know if maybe that's a US only feature. I don't see why it would be. Maybe it's just this movie. Let's try this one. Yeah, there we go. If you just swipe up or down on the iPad, it'll let you view that. Obviously, Employee of the Month is not Rotten Tomatoes' favorite movie, but you can take a look at the reviews from the iTunes Store here, or Rotten Tomatoes here. You get some information about the actors, producers, director, all that kind of stuff. It's pretty nice having all that information right there and simple to access. And of course, preview is pretty much the same thing that we saw with that movie trailer. So yeah, that's the brand new Apple TV from Apple. It's available for $99 in the US or 119 Canadian dollars. And I mean, right now it's pretty basic. It is going to need some work, but I think Apple hasn't ruled out adding an App Store to it. Steve Jobs actually went on the record saying that that is an option in the future. So I'm pretty sure that's going to happen, and that's going to be, a game changer, because a lot of people, for whatever reason, develop software for Apple equipment. The iPad and the iPhone, of course, have been large successes, and there's a lot of people that know how to develop for it. And since this is actually running on iOS, a lot of developers would already know what to do. So an app store here could be huge. But until then, I mean, all you've really got is the ability to rent movies from Apple, watch instantly on Netflix, browse YouTube, look at some pictures on Flickr if you really want to, or push music from your iPad, iPod Touch, or iPhone up to your TV. I'm seeing a lot of potential here, but it's just not there yet. So we'll see where it goes. In the meantime, stay tuned to Neowin.net for all your latest tech news. I'm Simon Andrews. Thanks for watching.